If you're unsure about taking stimulants to improve processes in your ADHD brain, this video is for you. Today I want to reflect on whether we really need ADHD medication or if we can manage dopamine levels in other ways and ultimately accept ourselves and start doing what we truly enjoy. Hi, I'm Dmitry, and on this channel I share my thoughts on ADHD, psychology, business and life in a broad sense. I always remind viewers that everything I share here is my own opinion, based on books I have read and my personal experience. So sometimes my words might sound subjective, but that's what YouTube is for, to give people a platform to express themselves. It's been almost a year and a half since I was officially diagnosed with ADHD. It wasn't a shock to me because throughout my life I understood that my brain works somewhat differently from other people's. This showed in my unwillingness to sit through lessons, weak short-term memory, impulsivity and weak willpower to start and continue doing things I didn't like. While others calmly sit for 8 hours in one workplace, I couldn't force myself to sit even one day in an office. It became unbearably boring and literally ran away from the first day at a new job. Back then I didn't understand that something was different with my brain, and instead of harshly berating myself, I should have explored this area more deeply, which I actually only discovered after 35 years of life and moving to Canada. For me, ADHD was not a turning point. After studying all possible symptoms and taking several tests, I went to meet a psychiatrist and received a diagnosis and prescription for methylphenidate. And ADHD medications helped me realize that all those 35 years I was viewing the world differently than people with neurotypical brains. That moment opened my eyes to the fact that you can actually not hear all the sounds around you, that you can calmly sit for hours doing some routine work without constant distractions, and that living like everyone else is absolutely real, despite constant dry mouth and noticeable crash after the methylphenidate stops working. The prescribed ADHD medications opened a new world for me, but at the same time they took away the world in which I had learned to live. Then I asked myself, at what state is this you, the real you? This question can be slightly simplified and asked as, in what state is it easier for you to live? But what does easier mean? What does state mean? When I first started taking medication, it seemed that I had found the answer. It seemed like that moment would completely change and improve my life, but everything turned out differently. I wouldn't say that my life became much better or worse, but I definitely needed to understand what system I needed to build and whether there was a place for ADHD medication in that system. So I began to explore this direction. I started studying the psychological causes that ADHD affects with its imbalance in neurotransmitters in the brain. I thought about what was more important, to do something I never liked but under the influence of medication, or to continue investing my energy in what allows me to reach a state of hyperfocus and eventually leads me to a happier life. These questions began to accumulate. I tried living on medication, tried building a system to slightly adjust my life to new realities without using medication, and in the end, I came to some conclusions that I use today, and in this video, I share them with you. The first and probably the most important thing you need to understand and accept is who you want to be. Yes, YouTube and motivational literature are full of phrases about self-acceptance, that we no longer understand who we really are and what we want from life. Social medias show us the perfect life of bloggers and influencers, and we give up everything just to live like them. No one teaches us that only the real us can become truly rich and happy, and when successful people on your smartphone screen say that they achieve success only when they started doing what they love, we snap back and enviously say, that won't work for us because blah blah blah. We reject the very fact that our hobbies are just hobbies. We don't accept that part of ourselves that doesn't want to become doctors, lawyers, or financiers just because that's what we should do. No, if you have become successful in these professions and enjoy it, I'm really happy for you. But mostly, especially for people from my generation, pursuing creative professions was accompanied by humiliation and devaluation by society. We were shown our classmates who didn't get good grades as bad examples. They were outcasts in the world of good grades, but they were always the center of attention because they remained who they wanted to be, not who the surrounding world wanted them to be. Such people eventually achieve success very quickly. Self-acceptance is an extremely important skill in life, and accepting yourself with ADHD is even more interesting. It's not about drawing two columns of pros and cons, it's not about asking people around you whether you should take medication or which version of you they like better. It's not about any of that, it's about how you want to live your life. Stimulants that increase or delay dopamine are not a panacea. Your ADHD brain cannot be cured. It's not even a disease, it's an imbalance, a functional disorder and nothing more. You won't die from ADHD, but you can suffer greatly from not understanding what is happening in your head. You need to explore yourself and your brain. If you have an official diagnosis, I recommend at least trying stimulants. They will help you understand what is possible, and it will definitely not be how you feel and act without stimulants. It will be different and you might like it. You might decide that this is the state you want to maintain, a state where you focus changes from I see and hear absolutely everything around me to I see and hear only what I pay attention to. Honestly, this state doesn't always feel better than the one you're used to. I already said in one of my videos that I don't like driving after taking stimulants. The road seems much more dangerous when you can't keep everything in mind the way you can without stimulants. But working and doing some routine and boring tasks is definitely easier with stimulants. And that's the core of my system. So if you are at the point where you need to make a decision, here's my advice. If you have an official ADHD diagnosis and a prescription for stimulants at hand, don't tear it up. Take the pills, try them, play with the dose. Live for some time with the medication and decide for yourself what you prefer to do with it and what works better without it. Ask yourself, where are you more comfortable? Where are you more productive? What emotions do certain things and situations evoke in you with and without the medication? From the perspective of physical health, ADHD medications do not cause significant negative effects, so the decision to use them or not depends solely on how you feel. I have decided for myself that stimulants help me focus on tasks that are difficult for me without medication. Repetitive actions that don't trigger a state of hyperfocus are the signal telling me it's time to take the pills. When it comes to that I truly enjoy, I don't need any stimulants. I enter a state of hyperfocus and do everything with great pleasure. That's the secret. And the most important thing I want to end this video with is this advice. Your goal shouldn't be a lifetime supply of stimulants to constantly maintain normal brain function. Your goal should be a strategy to use stimulants only until you allow yourself to do what truly brings you joy in life, which, if done consistently, will lead you to success and wealth. Use all the tools in your arsenal to move where you really want to go. And if that means taking stimulants for a while, I see no problem with that. But first and foremost, you need to know what you want, what you love, and who you really want to be. And please remember, ADHD is not a sentence, it's your unique trait which, when properly managed, will take you as high as you can imagine. And thank you for watching this video. I hope it has become a little clearer for you, but if not, which also happens, ask questions and leave your opinions in the comments below. And most importantly, never stop exploring yourself, because only in harmony with your true self can you reach great heights. I strongly ask you to start loving yourself, and I want you to be happy. See you in the next video.